Well, hello, Mr. Bemis.
Hello, Stevie. I'm sorry. I was sipping my tea, which is not ready. It's the crack of dawn for me. How are you?
I'm good. Is your tea Earl Grey hot?
Alas, it is Starbucks passion, but also too hot. Yes, too hot. Poured it too recently.
Very good.
Well, here we are. It's not even the final stretch. Now it's the last steps of discovery, period. End of story.
We're entering the final hurrah.
The final hurrah. The final countdown, if you will.
I bet you most people couldn't tell you the name of that band.
I do know the name of that band. Is it Berlin? No.
No. You're close, though.
It's,
You're along the right lines.
This is the issue. I definitely know. If my brain wasn't full of music stuff right now, I could tell you the name of that band. It's not Berlin. Europe. It's called Europe.
Correct.
Yes.
For the longest time, I thought it was Queen.
Yeah, I conflate Queen and Europe and those kinds of big, you know.
Yeah. Power ballad type stuff.
Power ballad, strange. Anyway, that's a relief. Maybe today will be a good day since I remembered Europe. Well, let's start the show.
Set Phasers, a highly illogical Star Trek podcast.
Welcome in to Set Phasers, a highly illogical Star Trek podcast. Today's stardate is stardate 159609.1, and we're discussing Discovery, Season 5, Episode 9, Hold for Weeping, penultimate episode of the series entitled LaGrange Point, which they do say once in the episode, so that's cool that somebody actually says LaGrange Point. This is the second to last episode of all Discovery of all time. We've come a long way from the Vulcan hello.
It's been a long road.
It's been wow. You almost incepted me into start saying it. I'm very impressionable at this hour. Yes, getting from there to here. But yes, things are not going to wrap up smoothly. Everything is up in the air. A lot of conflict. You got the Breen, you got Discovery, you got the progenitors. You'll, as we discover, have two black holes. So, without further ado, let's run this thing down. It's time to run it down.
Can you run it down for me? Tell me what just happened. Can you run it down for me?
I'd love to. Well, we know all the action that's going on, and yet we begin at Starfleet headquarters. Saru arrives. He's brought flowers from El Pana for Trina. He's able to discern that something is amiss here at Starfleet. I mean, everyone is bustling around, and Trina looks, even for a Vulcan, a bit, harried. There's an emergency meeting with President Rillick, who's back. We find out all the news of the things that happened at the end of the previous episode have spread through the galaxy. They know that Ruhn is dead. They know that Moll has control of the Dreadnaught. The other 5 Primarchs of the Breen hegemony, I forget what they're called, are aware of this thing. And so now things are on the very edge of all-out war for the Breen. Saru had just returned from near Breen space, and all those planets are already on edge. And one of the 5 Primarchs, Tahal, who we've heard of before, is the one who controlled Raynor's planet, is headed toward Moll's Dreadnaught to take over the fleet, take over the Ruhn's fleet. Although I don't think Tahal knows about the progenitor tech yet, so that at least is good news. But things have transpired. Moll's Dreadnaught is 15 minutes out from the progenitor tech area. Saru just contacts Disco to let them know all this stuff is up. Raynor learns that Tahal is coming and is not pleased with the news. The spore drive is still damaged. Stamets wants an hour and a half, but obviously they have less than 15. So he's going to jump right now and try to get them as close as possible. Book is helping out, even though he should be in sickbay. Meanwhile, on the bridge, long-range scans determine that there is a gravitational uncertainty. They put their cloak up, they jump in, and they're right in the accretion disk of a black hole. Or actually 2 black holes. What the hell? Fortunately, Tilly is there to suggest using the second black hole for a gravity assist so that they're able to find the LaGrange point of these 2 black holes and find a steady place to orbit without the ship being ripped apart by gravity. Within the coordinates that they found from the mind maze, they're able to see the coordinates are in the middle of the 2 black holes, and in a what I can only describe as a more extreme Lagrange point is a big can. It's a giant canister, big garbage trawler kind of thing, and that's the progenitor tech. It's composed of a duranium alloy, so they can't see within it, and it is about 800 years old, so that is the thing itself. As Disc goes, how should we deal with this? Ruhn/Moll's Dreadnaught zooms in, tractor beams that bad boy onto their ship, and starts doing stuff. And so the mission goes from we got to get this before Moll and the Breen to now we have to steal this progenitor tech canister from Moll and the Breen. So they hatch a plan. There's going to be a team that has to infiltrate the ship. Michael, Book, Adira, and Rhys. And they're going to be 2 teams. One team is going to go to the cargo bay where the thing is being held. The other one's going to go to the bridge, and they're going to have to hack the Breen systems to drop the shield so that they can put a transport lock thing on the structure so that they can then beam out the structure, the crew, and then zip out of there. It's pretty dicey, and Stamets is not altogether pleased that Adira is going on the mission, but this is Adira's big moment, finally. From Earth cadet to away team on a Breen infiltration mission. They put on Breen costumes as a disguise. Finally, being Breen works in the favor of this team. All you gotta do is put a helmet on, which is always great. From all the Star Wars movies, it was the same thing. Since you think bad guys would learn from this. Don't put all your people in helmets that make everyone look the same. That means anyone can walk around looking like you, but whatever. That's the thing that I think about. If I was a bad guy, I'd be like, everyone show me your face. I want to see everyone's face. Know everyone's name. Bob, help me with the laser. Meanwhile, President Rillick and staff are trying to figure out a way to intercept Primarch Tahal in order to make this already tense situation not become a complete insane situation, which if I was writing a TV show, I'd be like, I think we're going to go insane. But they've been trying to reach out to Primarch Tahal. Tahal has been ignoring them. Saru suggests we don't send a ship, which could cause, escalation like a starship if Tahal feels threatened. Maybe send a shuttle and try to force a face-to-face conversation or to delay or to make them divert around the shuttle. They'll need a delegate to go speak. The president can't go because if the things go wrong, the president will be dead. So they need Rillick there to be able to negotiate. Saru volunteers to do it because he's Saru, damn it. He's action Saru. Book and Burnham on the ship, confronted by Breen, invited to a celebration feast. They're confronted about a celebration feast, and they basically say, yeah, we'll see you there at dinner. Then they have a little moment alone where Michael explains her realizations from the mindscape, which is that, she pulled away from Book. And then Book is, I did the same thing. And they both apologize to each other. And they're like, gosh, that's great. But then there's a Breen shift change. Meanwhile, Moll has gone back to the bridge because the Breen have, jumping back, opened up this canister and found a bright light inside, and it sucked the first person into it, and they lost all scans of that person. And now they're attempting to find a more scientific way to explore the inside of this canister, but it does seem to be an interdimensional portal of some sort, and they don't know what's on the other side. And do remember, Michael has a key from the person in the mind maze told her this is going to help you get the thing when you have the thing. And there's a quote for that, which is incredibly unhelpful. And it is, build the shape of the one between the many. I'm James Earl Jones. Okay, where was I? So Moll is on the bridge and they're trying to send someone inside to get the proper data. Rhys and Adira, in their Breen disguises, enter the bridge. They find the lowest level soldier there and tell them to go kick rocks, and then Adira gets into the console and starts trying to hack it. Meanwhile, Raynor is prepping the bridge crew for what is probably going to have to be a fast getaway once things start going. Tahal is 2 hours away, as we now know, and Raynor also has a peculiar thing where when he has the con, he does not sit in the captain's seat, and everyone notices it, and they're all freaked out about it until he tries to talk to him about it, and he's, hey, don't give me any encouragement, I'll sit when I'm ready. Michael and Book approach the shuttle bay. There's a retinal scan to get in. Book tries to use his to get in, doesn't work. They have to pull one of their courier moves from, it's just so sweet, from early in season 3 when you see how they work together like a buddy cop film or something, and they pretend to fight, and then they both fight each soldier when the soldiers get confused, and then they take them down, and then they use the soldiers thing to use the retinal scan to get inside, and then they hide the soldiers, and they see what's going on inside. They see the Breen soldier that they were sending in with a tether and equipment, this will help us figure out what's on the other side. Tether gets absolutely torn, and that Breen soldier gets whipped into wherever that place is. But then they put a quarantine up on the structure. And I remember Michael and Book are only trying to put the dealie on it so that they can transport it out of there, but they got to get the quarantine down. Book sees the power box. Michael goes to disable it, and Book has to be on distraction duty, so he basically starts flirting with a Breen soldier and asks if he can join them at the feast, and is told that he can come be a Sark mate at the Sark feast. Meanwhile, Adira hacks the system. Moll finds out about the lost soldier and discovers that there are missing guards, and they decide to put Shuttle Bay in full lockdown, which obviously is going to spoil what Michael has to do. Back at Federation headquarters, Saru is prepping to go. Tarina tells him that the shuttle is ready. They share a moment where they realize that they both have chosen lives of service, but they are able to serve together, even though that means often they will be apart and have to do dangerous things. There's a lockdown in the shuttle bay on the Breen ship. Michael's still working on the shield. They need some sort of distraction because they're going to be discovered at any moment. Raynor comes up with a plan that he says Michael won't like. Michael says, I trust you. And so Raynor decides to reveal Discovery to the Breen Dreadnaught by hailing them. Remember, everyone thought Discovery was dead. And now they know that they're alive. Moll learns that they survived. They go into high alert. They arm their weapons. They answer the hail. Raynor tells Moll that Michael is dead. He tries to draw her out into a conversation and, be like, it's your fault and that's what we're here. But it ultimately does not work, although we get a little information about sort of Moll's emotional state, about needing this thing to bring back Locke, and also Ruhn. It's Ruhn's fault that a lot of these terrible things have happened. Raynor says, listen, you want our help. Tahal is on the way, and you guys are going to be in trouble, which makes all the Breen around Moll nervous. But Moll cuts the link and says, forget it. Michael and Book manage to get the shield down. They put on the transporter lock, but just as Moll comes down, intercedes, makes them take off their helmets, and now realizes that Michael and Book are alive. Raynor, still connected to Rhys and Tahal, tells them, prepare to lower the shields. I've got a plan. The captain will tell us what to do. On the comms, the captain references something earlier in the season about not being able to have her Grum of Asakad, which is a clue for Raynor as to what to do. Raynor knows the message. He is going to send, this is an absolutely insane sequence where Discovery uncloaks, starts accelerating towards the shuttle bay. They're going to tear through the containment shield, blow everything out of the bay, including the people in there and the structure. And then once everything is blown out, they will beam everyone aboard. Disco heads, they're firing, things are pew, 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 pew in space. Michael and Book make an ambush as they're tried to be dragged to the brig. People wonder if this is actually going to work. Stamets says math doesn't lie. Disco is taking hits, but they get in there. The shield drops. Things explode on the bridge. Rhys and Adira are discovered. Rhys jumps in and starts kicking butt. They're able to beam out before things get too crazy, but Moll, who is still down in the dock area, not for the shuttle bay area, sees what the plan is as she sees Discovery coming through to break the containment zone. And so she runs away from the lieutenant that has been her aide de camp, as we say in the business, and runs right into the structure. And Michael, seeing her do that, is unable to stop her and runs in after her, which causes Book a great deal of consternation. That is just as Discovery breaches the bay. Everything goes down. Things get whipped out into space. A lot of green light, a lot of star stuff. The the structure gets sucked out into space and flies towards the black hole. And then the structure housing this interdimensional portal blows up. And now we just have a big interdimensional portal floating in space. Michael is gone. Book can sense that she's alive through his space druid stuff. And so they have to save Michael and fight off the Dreadnaught, and possibly are going to have to deal with Tahal. Rayner sits in the chair and says, "Let's do this." And here endeth Episode 9, Season 5, Star Trek Discovery, LaGrange Point. Let's chat about that.
I say, darling, let's do a quick chat about that. Yes, let's do.
Hi, Jinx.
Hi, Jinx. I thought this was pretty exciting. I knew it was going to be a fucking cliffhanger. I was mad. As soon as I was like, they're not going to get that thing on there and whisk it away and then have a final episode that's just a wedding. You know? That's what I want. But it's not what's going to happen. Boy. But yes, I do love Adira finally getting a chance to step up and show their skills and be under pressure and hacking and stuff like that. It was nice to see Rhys kick a little butt. Rhys, when Adira's, what do we do? Because the soldiers are coming. Rhys says, let me handle this, and jumps over a console and starts kicking ass, which is very
I didn't even
funny to
notice
me.
the jump over the console. How very Indiana Jones.
I believe, unless I'm conflating that now in my morning fantasy, that he truly did leap over the console to start kicking butt. Maybe he just walked around it.
Do you remember that
doesn't seem
episode of
legit.
Next Generation when Geordi did, there was a door that was coming down and there was some sort of fire and he had to he was like, you go, and then he
That's
rolls
right, yeah.
under the door like
Yes.
Indiana Jones
Oh, yes.
style. It was
Absolutely
so
remember that.
ridiculous.
You're like, Geordi who is very smart, but the most awkward person ever, is like, gets everyone out and cure and then does this beautiful roll under the the bulkhead door coming down. Yep. Well, turns out Lieutenant Rhys is made of sterner stuff.
I just want to note that bulkhead door coming down, it's supposed to seal off everything. It's coming down onto a lovely carpeted floor. It's not like it's sealed. It just...
Never forget that the Enterprise had lovely carpets.
It did.
Nice little, makes your feet whisper along the hallways. That's true.
Did
Which
feel
Discovery
very-
doesn't have.
Cruise ship like.
Yeah, we're wearing boots, but everything is as you walk along. Yeah, even if you have to roll under a bulkhead door because the dilithium intermix is about to explode.
Anyway,
Geordi.
that was a little aside.
That does remind me of how TV used to be. So,
Terrible.
well, absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, here's an action scene now. Roll under the door, a little bit of stage fog as the thing shuts down.
I had to explain to my wife what jumping the shark meant.
Really?
Yeah.
You had to explain to your wife what and I mean, of course you know. I'm surprised that she didn't know what jumping the shark is.
She probably wasn't a big TV person, but I think also as a Brit having to explain jumping the shark, which is
That's
from Happy
very
Days.
funny to me. Yeah, it's such a strange thing. You're like, sit down, American, and let me explain to you a
Let me
classic, a
Brit-splain
golden
this.
TV. Oh, I got a Brit splain jumping the shark too. Have you ever heard of the Fonz? Yes, I thought that was cool. Michael and Book sort of resolving that they both made bad decisions as their relationship dissolved. Although at the time, Book was like a fugitive who had been working with that Tarkin or whatever and was going to destroy all human life for his own revenge. So it kind of makes sense that they had issues.
Yeah.
And Rayner finally sitting in the chair. Rayner and Tilly. Rayner and Tilly as number one was a very special dynamic that I loved a lot.
I think
Really, truly loved.
Callum Keith Rennie talked about the chair moment on the Ready Room. He was counselled, if you like, by Jonathan Frakes. Because he was, what do I do? How do I do this? He was like, I'm not telling you. I appreciate this is a big moment for you, but they had a nice little moment with it, understanding the pressures of it and everything. And Callum Keith Rennie is a true Trek fan. But I think the moment where he sat down and tapped the chair,
Yeah.
I think was completely unplanned.
I didn't know the story, but the way he sat in the chair, I felt like I was seeing Rayner, but also the actor be like, yes, this is it. True. And the next line being, let's do this. I mean, incredible. That's what I would say if I suddenly had the con.
Let's do this. I mean,
Let's do this.
we're surely running out of ways to say, let's get the fuck out of here.
let's fucking go. That'll be the next thing. That's
LFG.
what I feel like Tilly would say, let's fucking go, you know?
That's fair. Yeah.
I love when she almost said holy shit in this episode. She says holy schnoodle or whatever, something like that. It's very
They've
funny.
sworn on Discovery before.
They do, I know. I think just because she was number one and she was on the bridge, it was after Rayner goes, that's what Michael wants us to do, and then we're going to blow the thing and the thing's coming out. She goes, oh, holy schnoodle.
I feel like Picard dropped quite a few F-bombs.
Back in the day, you couldn't curse and you rolled under bulkhead doors, and now you can drop F-bombs and... Man, it's like we're watching British television. You just curse all you want.
Yep, we do.
You really do. I was watching Taskmaster last night. Good Lord. Anyway, looking forward to this final episode as much as I'm not looking forward to it being the final episode. Well, I think that's it. Are we going to the desk?
I
A
have
lot in
one.
this.
I thought an interesting moment was we cut to Commander Lorna Jemison, played by Zara Bentham, at the con, which is a nice nod to NASA astronaut, medical doctor, and Next Generation cameo alum, Dr. Mae Jemison.
Oh, right. I forgot. I recognize the name. Sorry, go on. Yeah.
Who appeared in the episode Second Chances.
I remember Mae Jemison, and that's cool. I didn't put together the character. That's sweet. What are you talking about? That's
It's nice.
well, it's great. The Jemisons live for another 1,000 years.
1,000 years and still in
Another 1,000
Star
years.
World stuff.
Still out in the stars.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's an Easter egg.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there are any other Easter eggs, but no. All right, well, that taken into account, we should move on to quotable moments.
Quotable moments. I have a couple.
There were a couple.
A favorite of mine was Adira, and they're all in the shuttle, and I think Book's like, why can't we do that? And Adira goes, science later, problem now. We just can't.
I thought that was great. I thought, because that was sort of like Michael helping Adira understand like the mission criticality of being like, we can't do this thing, and starts to explain it. Michael goes, science later, problem now. And then Adira's like, great, totally gets it, goes on, and then Book like comes back and like, well, why can't we? That was great. I loved that. The two people replacing Detmer and Owo after they successfully find the LaGrange point before the ship gets torn apart. One says, drinks on me tonight, and I think Jemison is the one who says, it's tonight somewhere. Do we have to wait?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to steal this one. This is the best. I chose you to be my first officer because you're smart and I trust you. And if we were stuck in a foxhole together, I wouldn't kill you. Unless, that is, you give me more of that warm, fuzzy stuff that I don't need. I just love the way he delivered that line. That warm, fuzzy stuff.
He was like,
It was just a little pause between, like, that I loved.
I respect you so much, but if you don't do that, don't hug me. Which really solidified that, how much Rayner has come to respect and trust Tilly, but also, and be able to open up about, don't get warm and fuzzy with me. I really did like when Michael and, well, actually the whole away team early on gets encountered by the two soldiers that are in the spot, and they tell them, whatever, you can get out of here, otherwise the Scion will be upset, and they leave, and everyone goes, whew, that works. And Michael goes, nobody likes a disgusted Scion.
Indeed.
That was very cute.
Now, there was one thing that I liked. Rayner said, failure is not an option. And fun fact, from Apollo 13 and many other missions, White Team Flight Director Gene Kranz uttered the words, failure is not an option.
Incredible. I love that. I think I was like, oh, I recognize this phrase. Has this been in Star Trek before? Or is it from my many watches of Apollo 13 as an adolescent child? Almost certainly. We already talked about Holy Schnoodle. I did also enjoy, as a heartfelt quote, when Saru is about to leave, Tarina says, it would be illogical to ask that you promise to return. So instead, I only ask that you will try. It's beautiful. Vulcan poetry. Indeed. And also, math doesn't lie. Is a good one. That could be, if I ever got a tattoo, that's probably what it would be. It would be the Starfleet symbol, and then math doesn't lie. I'll never get a tattoo. Needles, I'm terrified.
Oh.
I could get a stick on one or something. I don't know. Okay. If they ever make them painless, I'd do it. Laser tattoo, I'd be down.
Henna tattoo?
Is that a thing? I could do it. Yeah, I'd have to get retouched up every...
That's true, yeah.
I'll never be a tattoo man. Well, next time
Next time on Set Phasers.
My word. Next time on Set Phasers, Season 5, Episode 10, the series finale of Star Trek Discovery, entitled Life Itself. I wonder what this will deal with. In any case, we will be here to talk about it. Thank you so much for listening to the program. If you liked what you've heard, if you're a Star Trek fan and you stumbled across us, know that you can find more episodes of this podcast wherever you get your podcast from. And we have covered every single new Trek that has come out since Discovery, right?
Except Prodigy, actually.
Except Prodigy, which...
It's coming out for season 2 on July 1st.
Hey, is it on Netflix now?
Yes.
All right. Well, hello, Prodigy.
We have some time. We've got, things that we're waiting for. We've got Section 31 movie next year. We've got Lower Decks. We've got
31. Sorry.
Strange New Worlds. And then they've already commissioned the next season of, I think it's season 4. They've already commissioned before season 3's even released.
Of course.
We're still holding out hope for Star Trek Legacy, but we'll see. But, we can do Prodigy in the meantime. I think we're still one season behind for Lower Decks, which we need to catch up on because it's coming out soon. So let's do that.
I feel like you saw the series, and I think I was making a record and I haven't seen it.
All right, well, maybe we'll continue with that.
That sounds cool.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. You want to do the socials spiel?
Oh, yes. Do follow us. We're at Set Phasers Podcast on YouTube. And I'm doing quite well with my YouTube strategy. So do follow us.
Your delight in saying YouTube.
YouTube. I should really make some sort of sound effect for that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're on the YouTube at Set Phasers Podcast. I think
we're on the YouTube.
And I take such pride in this because I say this, that my wife and I are 4 years apart and I still Google things. I'm like, how to do this. Yeah. Katie goes direct to YouTube, how to do this on YouTube. I don't do that. So that's just, I think, like a clear difference of she's the YouTube generation that I am not. And now I'm starting to win YouTube. I take such pride.
Look at you. If you like the show and you want to support us, we have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/setphasers. You can go there and you can join us in what will be a voyage of yet more discovery.
Indeed.
Getting from here to there, there to here.
From here to there. Well, that is it from us here at Set Phasers. I am Stevie Manns. Until next time.
And I shall prepare a place for you in the oil bath. And this has been Set Phasers, a highly illogical Star Trek podcast.
Computer. End program.